Till now, the covering of the nakivubo channel by HAM has never solved the flooding, and I saw people crying for their property. In fact, here's the that is the tape when traders were still crying. First of all, let me make this assertion. We are all in agreement that the trench needed to be covered. It couldn't be uncovered in the middle of the capital city. However, because politics exceeded logic, this is what we are getting. And in the near future, we may see that building going down because of floods. One, Elias Lukwago had right issues and wrong issues. He was blocking the development of natural channel, not shops to be built on. He wanted just to cover it. But it was impossible for a private investor. Although he was also right that the land was being given out without prior consent and contractual proceedings. This is what we are getting. What I'm saying is the nakivubo channel needed to be redeveloped. For a private individual to reap back his money, he needed to put out shops. But also, procedure was not followed. The bill of quantities, because if you are going to build on a channel like that, you first sit down with government, give them their plan, the bills of quantities, the cement is going to be needed, how water is going to move. That was not followed. It was because of politics. And this way, HAM is ending up having a beautiful structure by the way covering the trench, which is good, but the results are becoming bad because the entire city is going to flood. Remember, that is the biggest channel around Kampala that the whole Kampala has been feeding from the upper Nakasero and down. So in the course of this video, I've come to talk about the trench and the politics around it, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're into this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagale. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to.
So sakwata olw'ensonga nti nkimanyi mwena bambi muli mubuzibu bw'amaanyi nnyo naye kiri nnyo bannaye kati twetaaga kyekino tulabe bayingiriya bagenda kukola batya omulimu guno okulaba nga amazzi tegayingira ebibuga byonna amazzi tegayingira naye lwaki Kampala amazzi gayingira ate nga ebibuga ebisinga byonna babizimba mu ntobazi sebo nkuddamu ne sekuddamu otubonyabonyeza ebbanga ddene naye ke tunasituka okujja mu ofiisi yo tojja kuddamu okufunga kikalu nkikakasa tutugamba abantu banyiivu nnyo bantu banyiivu nnyo ndowooza buli kimu seefu y'omusajja na ssente zifudde abadde ayinamu sente zifiidde omutalinamu n'akamu zisino zonna ndozoziraba zonna bazibye zigenze kyokka ne guli omuluntu yafunako n'akamu zonna zagenda kati asigadde.
First of all, seeing the floodings in Kampala, most especially, we all know that Kampala was built in a wetland. When that channel was opened, there were floods, but they were not as much as it is today. So for me, although HAM did a strategic development to beautify the city, but he broke the plan that was put out online. Is the reason as to why I was a firm believer that we needed to cover the trench, but also to follow the law. How come that the plan that was put out on media is not the one that was delivered? But if you had a contractual sitting down with the government, the bill of quantities, etc., they would call him to order that, no, you said here that we are going to have flowers. The flowers are no more. We are going to have 2 floors. We are seeing 3. That's the beauty. And by the way, we could curb the floods. So for me, what I think, what is the way forward? Government, despite that, should sit down with HAM before he continues with other contraction, either to make the channel wider or to get other channels in the city to pull off the burden from that nakivubo channel. What I agree with, Ham is doing a great job by redeveloping the channel, but he didn't follow the right procedure by government because politics overshadowed everything. Even the Kafumbe channel now floods. It's because we never followed everything. Whenever is contracting, there is a day they even asked the engineers of Kampala. They didn't know that what was going on that channel. So that's the problem. Ham did a great job, but he didn't follow the procedure by government, so that government can show him the path, the building of countries to be used, the quality of cement, etc., how the water is going to move. And if you don't sit earlier than today, we will get casualties, loss of lives. I'm telling you. But of course, it was so unfortunate. I saw a lady crying that he has a loan. And people do. In fact, here's the tape.
Sorry.
Tetugenda kusaba gavumenti sente. Gavumenti ya Uganda ewuliza kwekalakaasa.
That is the tape after the flooding. Even before the other people were compensated, those who lost properties in the previous flooding, now this is happening. So I think government has some loopholes, some mafias supersede what's supposed to be followed. The development was needed, but the procedure was not followed on what quantity, what quality, what building to be put on the nakivubo channel to curb floods. Of course, as my opinion remains truly Mr. Makindi Kabesuleiman Margal. If you're into this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so you can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.